And welcome to JFP Sports, where fantasy and sports talk lives. Well, Rick, it is Monday. Yes, a show on Monday. We're doing a Monday segment. And after yesterday's games, we're going to need to get to these. The Rams and the Patriots come out victorious. What could you take from yesterday's games?
There's a lot of controversy. Someone asked me actually this morning what I thought, and I said this is the best thing for the NFL. Usually we have championship week, which I think is the best Sunday in football, better than the Super Bowl because you get 2 games. But then it kind of dies down. Monday, Tuesday, you talk about it, and then for a week or so, it dies down. I think we're going to have controversy surrounding yesterday for a while, and it's going to lead up into the Super Bowl. And I think it's going to be something that people are going to want to revise. And we'll get into exactly what happened, but I think it was a great day for the league. Controversy in a good way, in a football way. When you have off-the-field things, that's not what they want, but they controversy on the field. And I think it was a good day. Overall, 2 games in overtime. That's never happened before.
Suspense, drama.
Yeah, you had to watch.
You couldn't ask enough.
Day. Yeah. No, it was absolutely fun to watch, and I love the 6:30.
Yeah.
For us on the East Coast, those Sunday night games sometimes end a little late. It was nice though. The game was 10:30 post game, whatever you're done when you start your Monday. It's nice having Martin Luther King Day to back it up, but overall it was a great day. And we'll break down the games. But what do you think? What is your takeaway?
Well, I mean, none bigger than the hit from Robbie Coleman, right?
Yeah.
That, I mean, my mother knew that was a pass interference.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they missed such a blatant call just makes me think, are the people who are calling these games, can we really even trust them? I mean, that was for all everyone has complained about during the year about the calls, right? How about a non-call? These, we put such emphasis on the players and how they're role models and all that stuff. That's great, but how about putting it on the officials? I mean, they're the ones in the game in hand. They're the ones controlling the game for the most part. So they could give a 15 or a spot of the foul kind of call. And I believe, with this happening, something's got to come down more. Ron Rivera. Is it Ron Rivera?
What?
Al Riveron, the head of refereeing. Yeah. Something has to come down on these guys.
Yeah, real quick, just to give some context, if you did miss it, I really hope you're not listening to the show and you missed it. That doesn't seem to be a right combo. But if you did, Nikel Roby Coleman makes contact with Tommy Lee Lewis on a pass from Drew Brees, which was a very poorly thrown ball. Let's start there. But he does make contact. It's a clear 15 yards, and that essentially would have ended the game. Nothing's called. Sean Payton does his song and dance, wants to foul. Nothing. Even Roby Coleman comes out on TV in interviews and says, I made contact with him early. The crowd went wild, and I thought there was a flag. They said incomplete, kept my mouth shut, and moved on to the next play. So just to give a little context to our viewers, to you guys, we might have jumped the gun a little bit, but no, and that's what I was talking about, controversy. Yesterday brought controversy in multiple facets. Let's break down the game a little bit. Right away.
Right into the Rams game.
Right away. Saints drive down the field, don't score a touchdown. They kick a field goal. Rams turn it over right away through the hands of Gurley. Don't capitalize and kick a field goal. So right away, the Saints could have gone up 14-0 or even 10-0.
They're in the driver's seats.
And they leave it at 6-0.
Yeah.
13. Let's fast forward. 13-3. Jared Goff leads them to a touchdown at the end of the half. A beautiful throw to Cook sets them up. Gurley, 13-10.
Yeah.
So if we break it down at 13-10, the Rams are in a miracle to be down 13-10 at the break.
Right. They could have. It looked like that game was going south quick.
Yeah. Right. I would never would have turned it off in a championship Sunday, but it was looking like this could have been a blowout.
They couldn't get the darn over.
Right. You couldn't get the over.
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, no, and things just kept progressing, and it seemed like time and time again, the Saints had opportunities to make plays, and
never capitalized.
They just never got that killer blow. And then at the end of the game, first of all, 1st and 10, throw the ball incomplete. Why aren't we running the ball?
Right. To Michael Thomas.
Yes,
the quick slant
to Michael Thomas, which isn't terrible.
That's a high percentage
but
throw.
Let me ask you,
got to run the ball.
You have Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. You pick up a first down, it's over.
Right.
Or if nothing else, you make them drive the field with no timeouts in about 50 seconds.
Right. I like my chances.
I like my chances doing that. Your chances grow up significantly. So now they have their timeouts.
Yeah.
You kick the field goal, and you give Zerline a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got to run. And we talked about this before. Sean Payton's got a little bit of an arrogance, like, I'm better than you, I know more than you, and he didn't know more than everyone on that day, because how do you not run the ball, at least on first down?
I took a page out of Pete Carroll's book from years ago.
Right.
I mean, there's just becomes, I believe, and many other pundits believe, that there comes a point where you outsmart yourself. You know,
I think it's fair to say he did that yesterday.
You're so smart that you've dissected every little detail that now you've just went over and beyond and did more than you had to, when you could just ran the ball, get the first down, you're taking a knee, we're kicking a field goal, we're going to Atlanta. But what happened? Turnover.
No, yeah.
Not turnover, the penalty.
Right, the penalty doesn't go their way. Let's break it down. Drew Brees would be Mahomes is going to win the MVP. Brees would have been second. Jared Goff completely outplayed Drew Brees yesterday, especially in that second half onward. The Rams were trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
And the Saints were after that Dallas game, they were trending in the wrong direction. And I hate to say it, but at the beginning of the year, we would have said the Rams-Patriots was much more likely outcome than Saints-Patriots. So, and before we get to the next game, real quick, I was taught at a very early age, one call doesn't make the game.
This one call made the game. There's other factors. Now let's fast forward to the overtime. You know, now going into that, the Saints did won the toss. They did get the ball, and Drew Brees does then turn it over.
Well,
so let's not put it all on that one play. So I guess that's what you were alluding
to. Right, and let's
Yeah.
even back it up further. The Saints kicked that field goal, and then Zerline comes down and ties the game.
It would be nice if they stopped them.
Right, and what if you stopped them? What if, when it was 6-0 in the first quarter, what if it was 10-0? What if you don't give up that touchdown at the end of the half?
That's where I think they really missed Rankins, because
they
had no push over on the Trunch side.
And that's fine. And the Rams weren't really running the ball either. Both teams weren't really running it all that well. Kamara was bigger weapon out of the backfield receiving. But, yes, that ref made a mistake. They all made a mistake. That's usually a foul you see multiple flags on. But at the same time, the game wasn't decided on that play. You went into overtime. If you mentally were defeated as a team, then that's your problem. And you're at home. You've got to pull out that game. Yeah. Drew Brees versus Goff, I would take Brees every time, but he got outplayed yesterday.
And now the Rams will be wearing their throwback uniform in the Super
the yellows.
The blue with the yellow.
Blue with the yellow
from their original LA Rams jerseys.
I think that'll
be a nice look.
Yeah, why not?
And yes, and the New Orleans Saints will be heading home. So now on to the next game, and you have the Patriots here going into Arrowhead, and again, it's the New England Invitational. I'm sitting there and I'm saying they're getting all the calls. I mean, you literally have that Hogan catch, the one-handed stab. The ball could have moved, but I would say it didn't. But
I think it's a catch.
Yeah. But doesn't it feel like everything, they get that first touchdown with Sony Michel.
Yeah.
Now that, I think, sets the tone automatically.
It was an 8-play drive, like 15, 16 plays. They basically said, we're here.
Right. And
the Chiefs weren't ready for that.
And they basically were moving the line. Trench play, I said this before, the Patriots, though they have that kind of offense where they can go back and forth with you, they rather set the tone, time of possession, and have the ball, run the ball, establish the run, and tire out your line. So them getting that touchdown with Sony Michel, I think, set the tone for the whole game. And 14-0 for a while felt like 40-0, just for the fact of how poorly Mahomes was playing early on.
Yeah.
I mean, he set himself straight going forward after the half. But, I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me that this game, which we all projected to be one of the better ones, is going to be a blowout. New England going to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah. We'll break down the scoring real quick. Michelle started it off, and then we thought the Chiefs were going to maybe tack on a few points. So he missed a wide open throw to Damian Williams. Even Travis Kelce put his hands on his helmet like that's usually touchdown. Mm-hmm. They come down with Dorsett. Kelce struck back right away. The Gostkowski field goal, and then the Chiefs got going. Damian Williams twice. They actually took the lead, 21-14, but then Brady again. It was at that point, it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There were a few controversial calls in this one. The Hogan catch, which I think was a catch. What do you think that's a catch? The ball's allowed to move if you have possession on it. People seem to forget that. The ball's allowed to move.
As long as you have some possession. Yes.
And he had possession of the ball.
I think the one that they were actually very 100% right was the other Hogan play where Tom, driving towards the end, calls the timeout, and they actually screwed themselves because Nana gave them time to relook at it. They gave the Patriots back their timeout.
Right.
And it was counted as incompletion. We're on third down.
I think the Edelman play...
I mean, this is all hindsight. It doesn't matter now.
Right.
I
think the Edelman play was also... There were multiple angles. Mm-hmm. Not one angle showed it all. You had to look at multiple angles and piece them together, but it didn't look like Edelman made any contact with the ball.
Wait, are you talking about the punt return one?
Yes, the punt return.
I thought from a different angle that CBS was showing on the right tip of the thumb, I thought it grazed it.
Okay.
From the view of
it was difficult because not one angle gave the whole story.
Right. There was different angles where it looked like it didn't even touch it at all.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have the technology to piece four angles together. I don't know. Maybe they could in the replay center and things like that, and we couldn't. But there were those two. And then what about the end of the game? Brady has a chance. They're down 28-24. I'm sorry. It was 28-24, and it would have sealed the game with the pick to Gronk.
Yeah.
D Ford is lined up offside. That's not a bad call. D Ford, you need to know where
that just
you
cost
are.
Him some money. I think he's a free agent.
I think he's a free agent. I think he'll get paid, but
I think he's coming to us, New York Jets, guys.
Maybe he'll line up. Maybe he'll Brady again and line up offside twice instead of once. Yeah. But that made it 31-28. 39 seconds to go. It's 31-28. Are you more impressed with Mahomes getting them into field goal range or looking at Belichick's defense and saying, what is going on here? They almost lost the game.
I'm more impressed with Mahomes, and I'm going to say why. Because for the most part, I mean, Kelce had that one touchdown, but Kelce and Hill were in check all
Tyreek Hill had one catch.
And what is Belichick noted for? Taking away your best asset.
Yeah.
So he did that with Tyreek Hill. So you saw a lot of Sammy Watkins. You saw Robinson. You saw Spencer Ware coming out of the backfield. And for
Williams was a beast.
Williams. So Mahomes just doing all of it without his key members. And let's not forget, no Kareem Hunt because of earlier season debacles. So it was basically Mahomes moving the offense by himself, and that I do give credit to.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to give the kid credit. He played like an MVP in the second half.
Yeah.
For
Tales of two halves.
For a kid to be going up against Brady, home, away, on Antarctica, on the North Pole, to be down 14-0 and have taken the lead at one point in the fourth quarter, I think is remarkable. He's the clear MVP. I don't think that's up for debate. We've talked about it before. 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns is incredible, especially to rookie. You just had the feeling, though, at 31-31, Matthew Slater might have been the MVP of the game. He calls heads. They win the coin toss.
Right, yeah.
Look, we talk about overtime. I'll go first. In my expert opinion on this from multiple people that I've heard speak, players, GMs, league officials, this isn't college. You are paid to stop people on defense. The Chiefs forced 3, 3rd, and 9 or longer on that overtime. It was Edelman. It was Gronk. Look, you got to get a stop. We could talk about how poorly this Chiefs defense is. From what I believe, they still had Justin Houston. They still had Chris Jones. They still had D Ford. They still had Eric Berry. They still had Kendall Fuller, I believe.
Yeah.
Couldn't come up with one third down stop? Because I think we both agree if they get a stop and Mahomes gets the ball and they only need a field goal, that's a wrap. That game's over. Did Brady get lucky? Absolutely.
Yeah,
but would you? I've always said it's better to be lucky
than good.
And when you're both, you're going to your 9th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What's your takeaway on the overtime and how you were feeling when the Patriots got the ball? Did we think at any point the Chiefs really had a chance?
As soon as the Pats won that toss, I looked over to my father and I said it's over. Because, to be honest, they're not settling for a Gostkowski field goal unless it's a 50-plus.
Right, and it was like 3rd and 15 and
or
14-15, right.
For him, he wanted to end the game a la like that Falcon Super Bowl. And I felt once they had the momentum, he was going to go for it on all 4 downs. Because you score the touchdown, you end the game, you go home. You're going to the Super Bowl. You're going to Atlanta. And I believe that he was just going to run that rock. That's what they were controlling, the line of scrimmage with Burkhead. And he was hot, man. They were running that power to the right, power to the left, and a couple of, dink and dunks here and there to Gronk and to Edelman and to Hogan. And you know what? We get 1st and goal on the 6, give it right to Burkhead. Boom.
Yeah.
Game.
On paper.
No doubt did I think that they were going to lose.
No, at the final.
You can't get them in overtime.
And it's ironic because we've seen it in team sports before. In golf, tennis, UFC, whatever. Those are individual sports. When you get a team that believes and has a culture that the Patriots do, you're not just beating the team out on the field. You're beating the legacy. You're beating your own legacy.
Right. You're also defeating your own thoughts, too.
Right.
Because now it starts to creep.
It makes you change your game plan of what you've done all season. It's ironic because the Rams, when they played Dallas, they ran, and the Saints took that away from them. The Chiefs knew the Patriots early on were going to try to run them into the ground, and they did that, and they wore them down. And people say, well, the Chiefs defense, they did a decent job, but they were gassed. When you have a 15-play, 8-minute drive on the first drive of the game, forget about physically, mentally, you're defeated. And I think Brady just has that edge, and if you're the Chiefs, you cannot put up a 0 spot at home in the first half. No. And who's more talented? The Chiefs were more talented.
Oh, absolutely. But then again, Brady always finds a way, and now it's going to be the New England Patriots against the Rams. And right now, the odds came out, and they had, I believe last night, they had the Patriots +1. Now they're -3.
They're minus, 2, 2.5, 3.
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. I just hope that it's not one of those Super Bowls where they're just dominating. But there's some symmetry to this. And I feel like, Tom started his career. It all started against the Rams. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it could end with the Rams. Hopefully this ends and the New York Jet team or some other team can take dominance. A Kansas City Chief team can take dominance. But, it's just... I was talking to one of the other Jet fans, texting back and forth, and I'm like, this is just miserable, just always watching them. I'm up for a good dynasty, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like teams go in and beat themselves. I mean, right away, what is Andy Reid thinking? Andy Reid is an old guy, but at the same time, those thoughts start to creep into his mind too. He's never been successful in the playoffs. And the one time he did, he took an Eagle team. Who did he lose to? The New England Patriots. So it's like all those mental human elements creep into your mind, and it's very normal. And you get that eerie feeling like it's just going to be another Patriots year.
Yeah. It's funny you bring that up because teams that play finesse, it never works out. The Giants beat them twice, and they took it to New England. Mm-hmm. You cannot play the Patriots soft.
No, you gotta.
The only time I've seen it was really last year.
Yeah,
what the Eagles did it. They were a lot quicker. They were more finesse, and they did it. I don't want to say Nick Foles is a backup quarterback because he's not. He should not be a backup quarterback.
They also established that run game.
Yes, they definitely did with J.J. and the boys. And I'll speak a little biased. I've seen the Ravens do it. Mm-hmm. The Ravens are one of the toughest franchises out there. You might beat them. You will not be tougher than them. And the Ravens have done that, and I think, run. I think the Rams are going to try to establish the run early. Brady is a drop-back passer. Goff is not a drop back passer. Goff is a play action passer, and if that run is ineffective, they will struggle. And the Rams barely squeaked one out yesterday. If we talk about Super Bowl preview, I think the big matchup to watch is that Rams secondary. Can Talib and Peters keep up with the Hogans, the Edelmans, the James White
And, and it's not
of
like
the world?
the Globetrotters of, like they're just normal guys. I mean, Hogan's from Ramapo. Edelman was a 4th, 5th round pick.
He was a backup quarterback. Hogan couldn't do anything with the Bills.
Gronkowski, we know the story about Gronkowski.
But James White is not even a.
Right.
I don't want. He wasn't anything. He was a good running back at Wisconsin, but not a great runner in between the tackles. But he's a weapon.
Let me ask you
Burkhead couldn't even cut it in the NFL with the Bengals before the Patriots got to him. So.
I go back to last year and I think the biggest addition going into last year's opener, 2017, was keeping Josh McDaniels. 2018, I'm sorry. Going into this year, I'm sorry. And keeping McDaniels because I feel like McDaniels, second time around, he'll be a good coach. And you know what he'll be? A New England Patriot head coach when Belichick leaves. And to me, I know we talk about Belichick and we talk about Brady, but how much of the credit should go to McDaniels? I mean, he's the one calling these plays. And, he's been calling them for a long time. But I think him and Brady, even though as much as they yell at each other, they sync very well. And they just know how to attack. I mean, listen, I'm a starving Jet fan. I hate the Patriots. But there just comes a time where you just have to give a team its credit. Do I like watching them? Do I hope they will get beat 62-0 yesterday? Absolutely. But at some point, it's just, I sit there and I'm like, okay, this guy is really freaking good. He is really amazing.
He's the best quarterback of all time.
At some point I'd be like, Jesus, I hope someone breaks his leg or something stupid like that, something ignorant like that. Because at heart, I feel like the Jets are the reason why Brady is on a team because they knocked out Drew Bledsoe so many years ago with Mo Lewis.
Yeah, but he would have been the quarterback eventually.
Right, but then again, going back to what I'm saying, it's just sometimes you just have to respect the dynasty and what they've accomplished and what they're going to accomplish because I get that eerie pit in my stomach that this is going to be one of those Super Bowls where they take control, quarter one, run game again, and I believe that the Rams sometimes are hit or miss. They could be really good and show their muscle, an Aaron Donald coming through the line, a Sue, and then there's sometimes where it's like they look very vanilla, like they don't even want to play. And is the moment going to be too big for them, Ricky P? Are they going to just be happy to be there rather than the Patriots we know are there for business? No pleasure.
Yeah, it's weird. The Rams didn't look like the Rams at the very end of December, at the end of the regular season.
No, they did not. They looked better last year, actually.
And I think it's one of those things. Look, they brought in a lot of guys to try to fit that culture, that Sean McVay culture. Because last year you saw them coming. But this year, a lot of people were saying undefeated season, the whole bit. I think they got a little bored, to be honest with you. And that's not right or wrong. I think that's what happened. You have 4 first-round picks on the D-line. Fowler, Sue, Donald. Then in the back, and then in the secondary, we know their linebackers are a little weak. Okay, fine. And we'll see what that brings. But their secondary with Peters and Talib and Johnson back there and some of these other boys.
John Johnson had a nice game.
Some of these other boys, look, I'm just saying this is a more talented team. This is the most talented team in football. I firmly believe that on both, and
loaded.
I have a feeling the Rams are going to be able to get it done, and I think that talent is going to show out. Sean McVay has something about him that I don't know Bill Belichick does in this aspect.
Yeah.
He's very quick to adapt.
Yeah.
He didn't play Todd Gurley yesterday.
Right. He was going with the flow.
He was going with C.J. Anderson, who
was getting runs.
Who was earlier in the season eating on his couch.
Right.
Look, I'm not saying that they would have lost had Todd Gurley been in there, but someone who is able to take the best running back this season
and put him on the bench.
Not only has moxie, but knows something a feel for the game that other people don't. Because I don't think Sean Payton would have made that move.
Now, let's get this straight. does that not show evidence of how good McVay's system is and how good it makes someone like Gurley look? And when he's taken out of it, I'm not saying C.J. Anderson looked like frickin' Earl Campbell back there, but he was moving the ball at some time. So is it more McVay or is it more of Gurley? And I say no doubt it's McVay.
Yeah, I say it's McVay too, because Todd Gurley, if we take a look at this Ram team under Jeff Fisher,
I brought up,
Goff wasn't Goff, Gurley wasn't Gurley,
eaten.
but in their respect, they didn't have the defensive superstars when they first came over from St. Louis. Cooper Kupp wasn't a thing. You didn't have Brandon Cook. Robert Woods was in Buffalo, I still believe. Right. So you didn't have the weapons now, but I do think it's more Sean McVay.
Well, if you took Woods off, I feel like Josh Reynolds would be one of his top targets.
Or Everett, or Higbee, or
I love Everett. Doesn't Everett remind you of a poor Quincy Enunwa?
No, because he's better than Quincy.
Oh, whoa. I think they're equal, if not Quincy's a little bit better. If Quincy could stay on the field.
Before we get into...
But I just say team body type.
No, sure. Physical traits, sure. If Gerald Everett ever gets a chance to be a number 1 or number 2, he will have 1,000 yards receiving. No, a number 1 or 2 option on a team, like a Gronk or like a Kelsey.
We'll take him too.
Right, right. The Jets will take us at this point.
I would need Moses and Jesus Christ.
I think... It was to sum it all up, I think we could agree it was a controversial Sunday. And real quick, I want to address the pass interference issue before we move to baseball.
Yeah.
I don't want pass interferences reviewed. I know it was bad yesterday, and in this, like I said, the game, the Saints definitely would have won, but they could have won in overtime.
Yeah.
They could have won much earlier on.
There's many factors that go into that game.
It just looks bad, and it was a missed call. We're not going to sit here and say it was a good no call, but at the same time, don't tell me one play changes the entire game.
But that's what people remember. It's like, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. They remember that, but they don't remember all the other stuff that went into, that war. Just like in this game, they don't remember, that Breeze... Saints won the toss on the final drive in OT. They don't remember before all of this happened. Why is Sean and Breeze throwing on first down? They should be running the ball with Kamara, if not Ingram, inside zone. So really, many of factors, but that was the spark, definitely.
Yeah. So it's time to move on to
little baseball.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into some of these things, I don't know what's taking these top 2 free agents so long. I don't think I've ever seen...
And they're holding up everybody.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
I've seen something like this. It's not last year. Oh my God. What was the year? It was a big free agent. D Nanas, get on that for me. I know we're too busy looking up 1998 Wade Boggs stats with the Rays.
I don't remember
come on.
Where 2 free agents of this magnitude, who we could make the argument are 2 top 5 or 2 top 10 players for sure in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, what we hear is what we heard from the White Sox. I think was 7 years, 175. Manny's camp was thinking 300. I've never seen anything. Maybe
in the summertime, we thought these guys were going to get $500 million.
Right. I mean, if the Phillies are able to pull off a trio with including Kimbrel, they might be able to do it much cheaper than we anticipated, because...
Don't you feel like some collusion happened where all the owners were like, yeah, we're not going to give these guys that much money because it's only going to get bigger, the tab, so let's bring them down to earth, because if you don't give him, I don't give him, where's he going to get it from?
Right, exactly. And that was the Robinson Cano thing. Right. It's like the Yankees weren't going to do, but you knew there would be a team out there.
There's always it only takes one in the room.
Right, exactly. Right. There are 30 bullets. Can one connect? It did for Cano, and it was in Seattle, and he happens to be back here in New York. Yeah. But I just don't remember. This is very, very weird. Because unless the Phillies pull a trigger on one of these guys, they're going to end up Harper's going to end up back on the Nationals, which I'd say because it's Washington,
and he'll
D.C.'s,
take the 10 years, $300 million.
Right, and he'll be a national forever, and it'll be a feel-good story.
Years or whatever.
And Manny might end up in the White Sox. He'll turn into oblivion. He will turn into the same.
Nobody will.
He'll turn into the same player he was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Just won't care.
A good player, but no, not on a grand stage because nobody knows.
And if he steps on Jesus Aguilar's foot at first base again, no one will care because it's on the White Sox.
Right.
I mean, what is going on
now,
here? We're not that far away from pitchers and catchers.
Well, this happened a la JD Martinez a little bit last year. I think the beginning of February they signed him right before pitchers and catchers starts, which is usually around Valentine's Day, the second week of February. But Ricky P, I mean, you're going to call me crazy. I think these guys last until the beginning of spring training. You're going to think I'm nuts. But
no, I don't.
Just the way that the market's going, and it hurts guys like an A.J. Pollock. It hurts guys like a Mike Moustakas.
Because they can't really move.
They can't move without the big guns moving.
All right.
You know, and all the other opportunities out there, all the other guys out there, that there are some really good crop of players out there still. And it just befuddles us that, like, no one is giving. That's why I praise Cashman, because not only were the Yanks not saying, we're not going to wait for you, Machado, but they were proactive in going to sign Adam Ottavino.
2 Rockies players.
Right, 2 Rockies players, and DJ LeMahieu, who I think is a great player.
Yeah.
I mean, they got him for 2 years, $24 million. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on. The guy struck out 80 times last year. He has a great batting average. That's what the Yankees need. He's a prototypical 2-hitter, but you know, with the Yanks, he'll probably be batting 8th. But you know what I mean? Like, that is just a great move. And those moves are not seen because maybe they're not the sexiest move. Maybe it's not Harper coming to the Yankees or Manny Machado or Dallas Keuchel of that magnitude or even a Kimbrel. But those are the moves that make you win the pennant. Those are the moves that make you win a division and all this stuff. And I believe, you know, now the Yanks just have that ammunition of a pen better than the Red Sox. Yeah, I know the Red Sox won a championship last year. Great for them. Good for them. But on paper, right now, the Yankees look like the bullies. They look like they'll beat them. The lights out of them. Look at the bullpen. You only. Oh, sorry for spitting on you.
No. You're passionate.
You got to go 4 innings. You got to go 4 innings. I could go out there and pitch.
Yeah, but it comes back to the fact that the Red Sox aren't the ones that needed to make the moves. The Red Sox are the ones that won. So.
But you see, okay.
I get what you're saying.
But even though you won, that shouldn't be a reason for content either. You know, there's maneuvers that Dombrowski can use to sell some players high. I think them bringing back Eovaldi, I didn't like that move too much. You know, I've never seen Eovaldi do it once. He does it once. How's he going to do it twice? So maybe, you know, that's a little bit, you know, they went a little above and beyond. I would have saved that money and saved it up for Kimbrel because, gosh darn it, who's the closer? You're going to tell me Matt Barnes is the closer? Who's the closer for the reigning World Series Boston Red Sox right now?
I don't think it becomes an issue if they get Kimbrel back. If they don't get Craig Kimbrel back,
which I don't believe they will.
Now the Red Sox are in trouble.
Because he's prototypical. I could see him with a Phillies jersey on, a la Papelbon, who, when he won the World Series, the Phillies back then paid him a lot of money. And Puma likes to say history repeats itself. I could see Kimbrel go over there for the money. He's won his championship. It's time to cash in. Yeah. And you're with a younger team. They could probably go to the series too.
Yeah, we talked about it. I don't know what Craig Kimbrel's thinking.
He's thinking 4 years, $80 million, like with Chapman.
Right. Well, he's not going to get that.
No.
A. And B.
If he gets 3, he'll be lucky.
Right. And B. I don't know if the shutdown closer is as big of a deal as it was a few years ago.
And who's made that evident is Mr. Dean and his Rays.
Right.
Just showing that, okay, yeah, you know, it was great having those Trevor Hoffmans, Mariano Rivera, even Craig Kimbrel, but it's a new age. You know, now it's the age of the high leverage. If I need you, I'm going to bring you in type deal.
In the 5th or 6th, maybe.
Right, and the Yankees could be having Jonathan Holder closing games out when they brought in Chapman in the 8th, the Dellin in the 7th. They could just do anything they want.
Right, because if that high leverage situation is in the 6th or 7th and the Yankees add another 2 and it's a 4-run game.
Who cares who closes the game?
Right,
we won.
Right, exactly. And that's why I think the save statistic, you know, my dad brought up a good point. He said, you're up by 3 and you bring in the closer, that's a save. That's not a high leverage situation when you're up by 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I just did some math for Ricky P, and I was calculating some numbers. So Craig Kimbrel's market value on the market as a relief pitcher is $19 plus million. Okay, because he's coming in, probably 50
Where's that
plus
number coming from?
Oh, this is coming from Sport Track.
This is what he made last year?
No, this is his market value now. What he made last year was
So how do they get that? It's just a bunch of formulas and stuff?
Formulas, the algorithms, and the statistics going into it from this past year, and him pitching late into November, late October, early November, into the series and winning them a World Series, solidified his cap number. So I say a 3-year, $65 million. That's $21 a year. I like that. But he's looking for north of 85, 4 years. That's not happening, bro.
No.
And the reason why I say the Phillies is because the Phillies have stupid money to spend. So I could see them do a Keuchel and Kimbrel and Harper because they could do that money.
Well, they won't get all 4. I can promise you that.
No. Well, 3. But I thought
I was including Machado in the 4.
We're talking about hot stove moves, and I think the most stupidest move, speaking of stupid money, was Andrew McCutchen. Andrew McCutchen, I think they gave him like 12 a year or something of that, and I was just like, no, he's worth 1 year $8 million, 1 year $10 million, not 2 years 24, not 2 years $40 million. He's a nice player. I maybe would have given him 2 years 20. Yeah. Nah.
It's not that much more, I guess, because if you average it out, if you said 1 year 8, now it becomes 2 years 16. It's another $8 million. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I also think he brings in a locker room presence that maybe is a little undervalued. Sometimes the stats.
Where was that present for the Yankees?
Well, the Red Sox won 106 games. No one was beating them.
I'm sorry. It was 3 years, $50 million for McCutchen.
That's a lot.
Divided by 3.
That's
16 million, 600,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Are you kidding me, bro?
That's a lot of money.
He was 1 year, 10 mil. Stop it. They have stupid money that they're making stupid decisions. That's not a good analytical.
Do you think the Phils continue?
Yes. And I think they go and give Kimbrel his $80 million because they just have stupid money and no one's moving. Kimbrel's going to be a Philly. I could smell it. And that leaves, the Red Sox with Joe Schmo at the back. I don't know. Maybe they should have made a play for a Familia just in case. Maybe they should have made a play for Adam Ottavino. I believe them giving that money to Nathan Eovaldi kind of, locked them in. Obviously, they're over the $200 million payroll threshold for the luxury tax, so they're going to get charged there. So anything more is just more percentage off their revenue to other teams. So for me, I wouldn't have done that Nathan Eovaldi deal. That really hamstrung them.
Yeah.
Somebody like Pierce wasn't bad because, it's a 1 year, whatever. But
Eovaldi pitched his way into something last season.
Yeah, but what are the chances, like we always say, what are the odds that he does that again? A guy who's had arm problems, he was great for that 1 year. But I need to see consistency. If I were buying Eovaldi, I would like to make him prove it again. Then he would have to go for that, extension of 4 years, something, 40 million, whatever. But to give it to him right now, off of one postseason, I felt like they were just hungover, drunken sailors. Felt like, here, take a flyer.
Well, that might be the case. But one little fun topic that we want to get to before we end the show, the Pro Bowl. That's going to be the only football that's going to be on this coming weekend.
Yeah, I used to bet that. That was terrible.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to bet it, don't. Because they don't play.
It's like suicide.
Yeah, if you want to watch because you're that bored on Sunday night.
Yeah, you're killing yourself for 83 points.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. But the question Dean Addis brought up was, should it be banned completely? I'll let you take.
Yes. I mean, there's no reason why we should send a group of guys. It used to be Hawaii. Now it's Orlando. On a free vacation, millionaires, to go play two-hand touch football. We might as well put them at what is it? What's the park called? What's the park called in Fort Lee, bro?
Constitution Park.
We might as well take them in a vehicle, bring them to Constitution, and everybody play flag football because that's what it is. And let's go buy a ticket. Oh, by the way, it's $80 a ticket to go watch the Superstars. Yeah, that's great. But them giggling and laughing,
I couldn't agree more. the baseball All-Star game is by far the best. They try the most. Basketball, at least their dunks, their threes, whatever. They don't play defense.
Football is by worst, and I love football. It's the worst All-Star Pro Bowl festivity.
It's the only one that takes place at the end of the season, which we get because it's a very violent contact sport. God forbid someone got hurt in the middle of the season.
Yes.
So that makes sense. But
we're only getting $50 million, guaranteed.
No, but in all seriousness, God forbid someone got hurt after week 8. Right, after week 8. In baseball, they're not getting hurt. In basketball, they're not, whatever. I think this is stupid. They've tried it multiple ways. They've done the AFC versus the NFC. They've had Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin draft.
Ricky, why are we playing this game? The winner
gets nothing.
It's a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
To them, they fart out $1,000.
Yeah,
it's just something to watch.
We can't stress it enough. I'd much rather get an early night sleep.
I'll be watching a movie.
Yeah, this is
Spider-Man.
It's not good, and I hate to say it. It sounds a little stupid, but the teams that are going to the Super Bowl, Brady's never there because Brady's always in the Super Bowl. You're not going to see a Gurley. You're not going to see a Goff. You're not going to see a Cooks. You're not going to see an Aaron Donald.
But you know who you will see? Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, maybe Drew Brees because they got screwed out of that call.
Well, one would say they got screwed, which would be a fair assessment. Another one could bring up, I don't know, it was 6-0 at the end of the first quarter when it could have been 14-0. And we've seen time and time again, especially in football, you do not put teams away, you lose. And the Chiefs almost made that argument again. You didn't put them away. 14-0 to have for as bad as Mahomes and them played, it could have been much worse than 14-0. So, moral of the story, Machado and Harper get a move on it because pitchers and catchers
and end the Pro Bowl.
Right, and end the Pro Bowl.
And in other news, they confirmed that there might be a Wolverine sighting in the Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, that's pretty relevant to sports.
I need to go to Target and get some new Captain America t-shirts.
Yeah. Speaking of real sports news, though, Carmelo did get traded today to the Bulls.
Oh, nice.
He will not play a game for the Bulls.
That would have been a nice jersey.
They're going to release him.
Yeah.
And he'll become a free agent.
Were they doing it just to switch the contract?
Yeah, right.
Money laundering type deal?
Exactly.
They've done that with Matt Kemp.
The Rockets, right. The Rockets wanted another space for Kenneth Faried, and they had to move Melo. And the Bulls are just going to buy him out and not have to deal with it. Melo's free to do whatever he wants at this point.
Other news, since we're ending.
Sports news?
Yes. This is sports. This doesn't have to do with Wolverine or Captain America. Sonny Gray! Our boy Sonny Gray is heading to the Queen City of Cincinnati, and where he will be a 2-time All-Star with his new contract of $30 million for 3 years. And because he's not on the Yankees, so he'll turn. He's
guaranteed to be good.
Yes, I guarantee.
He's gonna have some Matt Harvey syndrome because Matt Harvey was halfway decent last year.
And he's got better talent.
Right.
Right. Oh my God! I can see him with the red high socks right now. The stirrups. No, wait, he's wearing the red stirrup and the white, and he's just striking dudes out.
We're joking around because I've never seen a guy with as much talent as he does struggle so much.
I've seen it once before. And it was
Zach Greinke?
Yes, when he was on the couple of years early in Kansas City, and then he weaned it out.
Right,
but he was the Zach Greinke for the Yankees in that.
But he even flat out said he couldn't come to a place like Boston, New York, DC, and LA. He couldn't. He couldn't do it. He needed to mature before he got to the Dodgers, but he could not come. Like the Yankees wanted him, the Red Sox wanted him, and he just mentally couldn't do it.
He was Steve Nebraska on a roof somewhere.
It is what it is, but ultimately, baseball's coming.
Can it be sunny again?
Yeah, no, it's
no pun intended.
Very cold out here.
Yeah, minus 11 today, my friend. It's gonna drop to minus 6.
The storm didn't really hit us.
Nah, we just got hit with
And
the
for
cold.
all you listeners out there, real quick before we end, take a look at the weather. I've never seen a job where you can be so wrong yet continue to have a job. Yeah. I still stick to it.
No. There was another instance. Marvin Lewis.
Okay, fine, but he won a few games, and he went to a few playoff games. He's not consistently wrong. He's mostly wrong. These weather people are insane, but that's another story for another time.
Another story for another time. Well, folks, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to JFP Sports on YouTube channel and add us on IG at JFP Sports. Don't be shy. Click that button. In the great words of Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it's happened. Good day, folks. Till next time.